Good morning everybody, I'm Callum at Repair Wins. I repair electronics, so you might wonder why I'm stood in front of my kitchen sink with all its dirt and grime, at least maybe down there. And the reason is because the tap has magically just decided, after 23 long miserable years, that it's completely had enough. So I don't know, very sudden. It was sort of not working properly for the last few days, and I was able to push it in and upwards and that would turn it off, but no, now it's just completely dead. So as much as I really don't want to, because I'm very busy, I'm going to have to repair it. And as far as I can gather, it's a case of putting a screwdriver in there, taking one screw out, this bit of the tap will come off, that'll give me access to the innards, and I guess I'll just go from there. So I think the first thing to do is to grab a screwdriver set. Also, I think it's fairly obvious, but I am just going to mention it. Go underneath your sink and turn the valves to off. So you can see that, I'll put my finger by it. You see how that's horizontal and the other one's vertical? They both need to be horizontal because that's basically closed and then this is open. It's a bit messy back there because most people aren't hanging out behind the bathroom sink. But I just thought I'd come into the bathroom so I can show you how how these little valves work. So you'll have one for your hot, one for your cold. You need a flathead screwdriver, like that one. And you'll literally just put it into this notch here and twist it to the right. Twist enough and that'll turn it off. So you can see that's now flat. And if I slam my tap over to hot and I turn it on, nothing's coming out. And that's exactly what you need to do, because if you don't, then you're probably going to have water shoot out the side of your tap. And then when it's all over at the end, twist it back 90 degrees just so it's pointing upwards. And that's all you want to do. I've got the right screwdriver bit, I've attached it to my electric screwdriver. Another comment to make is, make sure you cover the plug holes. You don't want to drop something and have it vanish, and never be accessible again. So the theory is I just put this in here, find it, and then I don't think it's that easy, surely not. Let's just try and... There we go. Right, that's obviously bitten down now. Doesn't want to come out there. Oh, right, that started it off. Now I can push the button. Okay, that's free, and even better if it'll come out for me. Doesn't want to come out, so hopefully I can just slide this off. Yeah, I'm putting a bit of force into that. Nah, doesn't want to slide off. I will go back to the drawing board and get back to you in just a moment. You'll have to excuse the muck that's starting to build up around the place. You see there's a pan on the right. I've obviously not got a working tap, so I managed to get this thing off. It turned out to be really difficult. The way that I did it was I sort of used WD-40, so I sprayed as much on as I physically could. And then I was successful getting this flathead screwdriver down and just sort of wiggling it a little bit, moving it in here, trying again. I put it in here and I just, I did a bit of this. I'll mute that. I did a bit of this, a bit of that, and eventually it did pop free. It really wasn't easy. There's some other videos on YouTube that might have better guidance, but that's just the way that I made it work for myself. Don't forget the little grub screw, by the way. I've just put mine up here on a shelf, out of the way. I appreciate the lighting isn't the best. You will just have to work with me here. But this little cap, I was able to unscrew it, and it didn't take any real effort. So you can kind of see what I mean. I'm trying to put it back on to give you an example, but it is just a case of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It just comes off like that. So I'll put that... there's no way to put it. I'll just stick it there for now. And then we've got this little sort of this thing here, which I assume yeah, the tap making noises. I assume there's some sort of tool that does this, but don't ask me how. I put these needle nose pliers on and I had to properly like handshake and twist kind of thing, but I got it. And then now it is just a case of unscrew this, place it down like that, pull this piece out. Hey, 2011. I thought this was from 2002. Yeah, this job has been done before then. So clearly this tap must just be the cheapest of the cheap. Oh, and by the way, you're considered a cheapskate if you replace these things. At least your friends will say, why didn't you just call a plumber out? But no, good on you for saving the environment. Good on you for proving that people can still do DIY. I've taken the cartridge out of the tap. When you remove the nut, it literally, you can just pull it straight out, no friction, no stress. And all I've done is I've gone onto eBay and I've typed in mixer tap cartridge. You can see it up there. That's literally all I've done, and this listing has come up, so I assume that means they come in a few different sizes. I'm not going to buy this because the person's got low feedback and they seem a bit too cheap almost. But I'm noticing this has got sort of ridges, and mine doesn't. Mine's just flat. So I'm just going to do a little bit of digging, and when I find out what I need and when I'm able to explain it to you, I'll then come back. I've worked it out. Mine is 35mm, so I found another seller. They're all broken down, very clear pictures. I assume they're the free standard sizes. If I get this ruler and I just bring it down on top nice and gently, without knocking it over hopefully, yeah, you can see that that is about 35mm if I get it nice and positioned in the center there. See? So you are just measuring the, well, the diameter. I mean, no easier way to explain that. And then as for this piece, it is just a case of pretty much measuring the barb. I believe these are also a standard size. I think they're 9mm by 9mm. You would measure those. And then some people also measure the hole in the middle, but to be honest, it's going to be a standard. I mean, no one's going to make a tap that... I mean, I guess if yours doesn't look like all the ones you find online, then perhaps not. But you'll also get a breakdown in the listing and so on. So it is just a case of pretty much measure up your item. So 35mm diameter. Look at where these two little pegs are sticking out, and because that's how it's going to line up into your sink, if you get me. That's pretty much all there is to it. Good news, I've managed to find them on Toolstation. They're nice and cheap, £4.78, and I will be able to go and collect one of those tomorrow. I'll literally be walking past a Toolstation as I go about my day, so yeah, that's ideal. Obviously, for you, you're going to have to look around, find the shop that's near to you, because most of us don't want to wait, 2, 3, 4 days to get the part in. And you can probably buy it on Amazon Prime, but I don't have Prime because I don't like wasting my money, so, Toolstation it is. Good news, as you can see, I've got the nice shiny new part. It only cost me £4.78, and what I've done is I've given the existing hardware a bit of a clean and whatnot. But anyway, all you do is you get this, and you line up the two holes with the two little notches on the inside. So you can see there's two small notches at the bottom there. I'll highlight them in editing. And you're just lining it up. You want to get it in, and then I'm lucky because that's gone straight into place. And this piece is set back quite far. If it was sort of forwards or whatever, then it's not in right. You've got to make sure you do twist it around and get it to sort of set down in place. And the theory is, once it's set down in place, I just screw this piece on. So I've managed to get this to grip quite nicely. It's in there fairly deep. Stop laughing. And then all I do is I put this cover piece on and send it home pretty much. So I'm going to screw that on gently, not tight at all. And then my tap just pushes on, supposedly. And when it pushes on, we get a little... Actually, it's supposed to be a grub screw or something, isn't there? That this is going to bite onto in theory. I can't see any any sort of place where a grub screw would go. Ah yes, because this had a hole in the side, look, and my new one doesn't. So okay, I guess that was something to watch out for that I didn't. Now I could always drill a really small hole in the side of this thing, but I guess I'm just going to stick it on and see how well I get on, and if I do have issues or whatnot, I can always just pop this off, drill a very small hole in here, and then put the grub screw in. But just make sure you're paying attention there, I guess. So I'm just going to push this piece back on. Really not much effort there, and then well, that's very smooth. And then if I open up, ooh, yeah, that's a lot better than it was, let me say. Right, I get the feeling this is just going to come straight off at some point. But alright, it'll do its job for the video. I've just made a realisation. There never actually was a screw hole in this thing. That's just where the grub screw was bitted in over the years. So I suppose now I did buy the correct part. All I'm going to do is just get the grub screw, basically screw it in, and then when I feel it set down, give it a couple more turns. and that should pretty much be it. So yeah, don't spend all your time digging and, you know, fretting about finding something with a hole for a screw, because they probably don't exist. No pun intended, but I've opened up the taps down here, so I've just twisted them back to a horizontal position. No, sorry, a vertical position. This position. So they went from this to this. Cool. So, if you haven't thrown up from motion sickness, I guess we'll see if this thing works, won't we? So, oh, well, looks... That's moving a lot more freely than it used to as well. That's a strange comment to make, but that's off. Ugh, bloody hell. Well, it certainly knows how to flow, doesn't it? And, yeah, that's how it's working nicely. Put it up to the top. Mix it into the middle. Yeah, that's clearly working fine. So I'm going to call that a win, I think. So all you would have to do now is you would just go, you would put your grub screw back here, or maybe it goes through on this side in your tap, but you would just put your grub screw in, and that's all you have left to do. And that is basically how you fix your tap. So there we are then. The tap has been working for about a week. There's no reason why it's going to stop working anytime soon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was useful to you. If it was, feel free to subscribe. Although you may be disappointed, because I don't intend on doing many videos about plumbing or repairs around my flat. This is an electronics repair YouTube channel. We're going to be fixing laptops, tablets, games consoles, stuff that I find dumped outside, doing cool sort of interesting modding projects and whatnot. It's going to be a bit different to most channels, I can promise you that. There will still be a bit of DIY, woodworking, that kind of thing, of course. But yeah, maybe hit subscribe if you think that kind of stuff is going to be useful to you. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Take care for now, and goodbye.